Podcast take one.
Check. Take one, day one. Me. What do I say first? Hello? Hello. What's up, everybody? Hello, welcome to Making Better Grownups Podcast. Yes, I said grownups, not humans, not people. Grownups. I think we all have some growing up to do. I'm so excited to connect, tell stories, and just do this scared. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it with you, and I'm freaking super pumped. So let's do it. All right, so let's just jump into this. I'm freaking out right now. I am shaking, I am sweating, I'm perspiring. And I just took a shower, which is really not the way I wanted this to work out, but we're going with it. But you know what? Sometimes in life, you just have to do it scared. You're not supposed to be the expert on everything, and you have to just take the step forward. And when you're surrounded by incredible people who believe in you and they see visions with you and they support you and help you and set up podcasts for you, you do it scared because you know you're not alone. And I think part of being scared is knowing that you have to be a beginner, that you're a baby. All over again, you have to learn how to walk, you have to learn how to crawl and run and talk, and all that skill set feels like you don't know what you're doing. So I'm giving myself permission right now to be a beginner. And I'm going to do this scared, and I think we should just jump straight into it. But first, I just have to say thank you to the people who made this work and happen for me. My best friends that are sitting in this room right now and setting this up for me and giving me the confidence to do this. I would never be able to do this without the support of them. So I have to start by honoring my friends and also honoring the story in my heart that God gave me months and months and months ago, but apparently gave my friends 10 years ago to use my voice and to use my giftings to tell my stories, to hear your stories, and to bless you ultimately. So welcome to the podcast, as scary as that sounds. I'm so excited. Okay. So speaking of doing it scared, I'll tell you a little about myself. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm actually a Texas girl, born and raised right outside of Dallas, Texas, right? But I'm a lot in New Jersey, like a whole lot. It took me 2.5 hours just to get ready for this podcast because Jersey had a huge influence on my life. And we got lashes, we got nails, we got hair, we got tans, we got all this going on. And it's so annoying. But you know what? I always like to say I'm a whole lot of Texas, but a little bit of Jersey. But I think I'm becoming a lot of bit of Jersey and a little bit of Texas, but don't tell them, right? But you'll hear my southern accent come out real thick every once in a while. But there's other times you won't even know it's from the state of Texas. So I'm a hybrid of sorts. Why did we move to New Jersey is the number one question I get asked. Why New Jersey? With a huge question mark. And I'm like, why not Jersey? But my husband just got us here with a job transfer. It's totally fine. I told him actually, no. Hell no. We ain't going to the Jersey. But after a couple of weeks, I started realizing that I have an intuition, and I had to start listening to that intuition, which is what led me here to this podcast. And in the intuition, God just spoke straight to my heart. I was cleaning the sink and the countertops in my kitchen that I've been in that house with my son for years by myself, day in and day out. My husband would commute forever to get to work. And I'm like, why am I cleaning these counters for no one to even see them doing the same routine every freaking day? And I called my husband and I said, listen, I changed my mind. We're going to Jersey. Long story short, we were here in 2 months. Life has not been the same. It has grown exponentially. I went from a mother and teacher and EDM producer, and I started a photography business, which I relocated to Jersey, and Jersey has freaking blessed me so big. They are incredible people, despite what other people might say. They are actually really incredible people, and they surrounded us and became our second family. And so we have decided to stay in Jersey for the time being because it has been so good to us. So that's what got me to Jersey. It was a great intuition moment with God. He's like, you're going to go. And I learned how to obey, which is not my strong suit. So as I'm obeying, I'm following my husband. We went from Texas to New Jersey. You should probably know that we have children. You know, those things are really important to talk about as well. We have 3 kids. But hold on. This is going to blow your mind. Are you ready? Okay. So I started first and I finished last. Meaning I had a child at 17 years old. I had a child at 30 years old. And I had another child at 40 years old. No, she was not planned. She was not planned. She's a blessing, but she was not planned. And she's incredibly awesome. Okay? You'll know her soon if you pay attention. She's the one with the curls. And what's even weirder, if you really want to go dig deep with me, is I have 2 grandkids. Yeah, I know I'm looking really young right now for those who are looking at me. For those who aren't, you should check out the YouTube channel. I'm looking really young for a grandmother. I'm super, super blessed, beyond measure, and I'm honored to have the really weird family situation that I have, because it is really weird to have grandkids the same age as your own child. But you know what? It's my story, and you're going to know a lot more about my story. And I can't wait to hear more about your stories, because stories are what connect us, you guys. Stories are everything. And how did I learn about this? How did I learn that stories are important? I'm just going to take you back just a little bit back to Texas, y'all. We're going back. My grandmother is 90 years old. I am so blessed that she's still on this earth with me. And she's taught me so many lessons and so many things. And one of the things that I discovered by accident, kind of, is I would play in her closet and do dress up with my cousins and all this fun jazz, right? Stuff you do when you're like 10. And I noticed that the entire top of her closet was just lined with popcorn tins. You know, like the Walmart ones that are really cheap and full of like the 3 kinds of popcorn. She would eat all the popcorn and then she'd fill it up with photos. And those photos, I didn't even see them until I was older. And we would just pour them out on tables and we would just look at them. And there was no order. There was no sequence. There was no names on the back. There was no ages of the child. I didn't know who any of the people were. But what started to happen, and where stories were born as a passion project for me, I would flip through these photos and my grandmother would open up and start to tell me stories that I've never heard before. And that maybe she's never told before. And I started collecting all these memories of my grandma. And I realized in that moment, as a photographer, that these photos that I create for other people, that my grandma's showing in front of me, that my mom has in her closets full of popcorn tins, that these pictures, these photographs, are actually the beginning of legacy. Legacy. If we don't tell our story and we don't share, or we don't ask people to tell their story, how can we continue their legacy? So that's where this is born from, is storytelling, connection, growth, being the change in your own life. You're fully 100% responsible and capable of anything you want to do by shifting, by talking, by sharing and connecting. So let's take this a little further back. The best way to get to know me. All right, we're just going to start with it. You know, when you walk up to somebody and you want to get to know them really well, you're like, okay, what does your tattoo mean? Because if anyone has a tattoo, they're actually begging you to look at it and notice it. Because why? There's a story behind it. So as I'm deciding, what am I going to do? I'm so freaking out about this content. I looked at my arms and I was like, my arms are a story. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself through my tats. Yes, I'm a tattooed grandma. I told y'all I was cool. All right. So first things first. I'll go in order. Okay, so first things first. The one I have on my arm is called it's Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. The reason I chose this was because I was forced to do it. I did not want a tattoo. I was like, clean arms, I love Jesus, and I'm not those people. Sorry for all those people. I'm one of you now. And my daughter comes to me at 17 years old and she's like, Mom, I'm getting a full sleeve. And I'm like, whoa, what? No, we ain't doing that. She said, well, I don't need your permission. I'm a grown woman. In Texas, I guess when you're 17, you're grown, even though I was paying all her bills. And so I'm like, okay, diversion. I will go with you and I will pay for your small tattoo and I'll get one with you. I don't get shots. I don't like flu shots. I don't like anything like that. And so I took some medications to calm me down. I walked with my daughter into that tattoo parlor and I went first. I don't know why I went first now that I think about it. Maybe I should have went second because if she chickened out, then I wouldn't have had to do it. But I was like, what do I want to put on my body? This is like a tattoo brand. This is a branding on my body. It's forever. And I chose Be the Change. Because I realized in that moment that the only way that I was going to be able to adapt to my daughter, my children, my life, my career changes, everything is constantly changing. Constantly changing. Then the other tattoo I got next is Fearless. It's right on my arm. Fearless. Period. And for all the youngsters, y'all know what period means. If you put a period at the end of anything, even incomplete sentences, it means the end. It's done. For real. I always know that when someone types a text to me and they're like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, period. I'm like, did you really have to take the time to make a period? So I was on the up and up on this. And when I got this tattoo, he tattooed the word backwards. He started with the S of Fearless. And he started going backwards. And I was like, that's weird. By then, I was like, I'm a baller. I can do tattoos all day. Because I have one, I can do like 100. And as he's tattooing it backwards, I decided to start asking him why he's tattooing it backwards, which is probably not the best idea when he has a needle against my arm. But, whatever. I'm not always the smartest cookie in the jar. So he's doing it backwards, and he actually only tattooed the word less. And I was like, that's weird. And he took a break. He shook it out. He's like, we could leave it like that. I said, less? Just the word less? He's like, yeah. It's kind of cool. We could put like a blank before it. And you could be, anything less. I was like, that's clever. And I was like, nah, it has to say Fearless. It has to say Fearless because it's the reminder to me that you have to do scary stuff. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be wrong. Even though my husband thinks I'm always right. So he finished doing the tattoo and I said, could you put a period at the end? And he was like, why? I was like, because it's final to me. I am fearless. And he did. And I'm so glad I put that period because I am so cool. Apparently that's what all the youngins are doing. So that leads me to this tattoo. We're almost done because I only have 4. It's not a big deal. I'm not crazy yet. This tattoo I have on my forearm, it's triangles and they're all hieroglyphics. I did this one myself. I drew it out. I had a vision that these are the things I want to become. And I love to put things on my body that remind me of who I am and who I want to be and a little bit of who I was. It's just it's a history lesson on my body. Just like when you have a baby, they leave history lessons too. Not the prettiest ones. But it is my body and it is my temple and I get to decorate it, right? And so these are all the things that I want to become. And I won't go through them in detail, but it is on my left arm and I always have my left arm up when I talk. And so you will always know I'm becoming. And what I learned right after I got the becoming is maybe I need to learn about the things I want to unbecome. Yeah, that one stings a little bit, right? So we're going to be going through all kinds of stuff like that. And then my last tattoo is the last one that I just got on my arm right here in the front. And it's really thin. I paid way too much money. I flew to Miami with my best friend and we got matching tattoos. Some people say that's a curse. I don't think it is. So let me just tell you guys. I have God moments, and I just need to share with you really honestly, really quick, that I have God moments. Intuition. I just know things. I get put in really interesting situations and places where the universe and I connect, and it's just, whoa. some really hard stuff had happened. We had to cancel our first trip, but we replanned our trip to Miami, and we finally got there. And like true idiots, we got our tattoo on the first day, and you can't get it wet and you can't get it dirty. And we're in Miami. Ugh. Either way, we get the tattoo Lilas, Lylas. Love you like a sister. We wrote it on every handwritten note we've ever written to each other. It's very special to us, and it has a lot of meaning. And the fact that she has it on her body and I have it on my body means a lot. But that's not what I wanted to tell you about. As we're in the pool, hands stretched high, cocktail in the hand, wrapped in whatever they wrap it in, the cellophane stuff, right? We can't get it wet, but we got to stay in the pool because it's like 1 million degrees. These two women are sitting in the pool right across from us laughing at us. They're like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we just got fresh tattoos. And they're like, they're so cute. And we're like, we're celebrating our 30 years of friendship. And they're like, what? And they got kind of weird. And our hands are still in the air. Our cups are in the air because we're trying to stay dry. And they said, we're here celebrating our 30 years of friendship. We're like, whoa, that was weird. And they're like, what do your tattoos say? And I said, you probably don't know what it means. It's Lilas. And they're like, love you like a sister. And they said it at the exact same time. And they're like laughing and we're laughing. And I was like, how do y'all know what that is? They're like, we signed every note in middle school, Lilas. It's the exact same story as my best friend. And they were there for the exact same reason at the exact same time. And they had rescheduled their trip too. I think when we start really looking at life and looking to connect with people and tell stories and be vulnerable and ask questions, there is so much to learn. There is so much to gain. And so I can't wait to share miraculous, crazy, God-driven, wild stories with you in hopes that it helps you move your needle forward. You're not alone. You have others. You have me. And I cannot wait to see what comes out of this, what is birthed out of this. It has taken a village. It's taken years. But here we are. And I cannot wait. I'm so freaking stoked. I'm not going to talk all day now, but I just want to say thank you for listening and watching. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been so fun. I cannot wait for all that is to come. So many stories to share. And just remember, your brave is someone else's breakthrough. And if you've loved this, please connect with me online. #Leah, Leah with an A, to connect with me on my socials. And if you want to connect and support this podcast, it's Making Better Grownups on all the podcast channels, YouTube. Meet me there. Like and subscribe so we can stay connected. I look forward to seeing you soon.